Okay, so welcome back to this tutorial about the Apollos model. So we've worked through these three first key steps. We've imported our three region maps, we've imported our land use maps, and we've set categories. We've created categories for them. We've assigned the categories to particular land use status types, so passive, active, or static, and we've made sure that our our renewable energy, solar energy category is affected by actors, influenced by actors, and we've defined the characteristics of those actors that will influence it, and that's created us a total composite map there that we can see on the right. So at this point we're going to move forward and do what is really the core of this model. That's the neighbourhood rules. The neighbourhood rules determine how land uses in the model grow and change. Okay. So before I do that though, I'd like to draw your attention to a very, very key and very useful thing, a very useful characteristic of this model. So as we've been going through, importing our region, importing our land use, setting the actors' characteristics, the model has been saving .r data, saving our workspace and the objects in our workspace at a .r data file. This is really, really important because this means that things that we set before, okay, so start year, okay, end year, these kind of things are preserved. And of course tab LU1, although I mean we know we can import this from file through the land use dialog, we don't want to have to do that again, create that table over again, because that would be like a real pain. And also we've got things like our actor, our actor vals, actor cars, actor characteristics, okay, and our actor car vals. Again, these are stored in external files just in case we lose them, but really we don't want to have to go back in, set everything up again. That would be a nuisance. Now, of course, when we get to the neighbourhood block, that becomes a little bit more than a nuisance because we can spend ages and ages calibrating our neighbourhood rules. Of course, they're also exported and saved, so there's no problem with that, but we really want them all in our workspace ready for when we're going to run our model. At the end of the process, we don't want to have to go back and import everything again. So that's a very key thing. And of course, the other really important thing is we don't want to have to just sit here and work at this all the way through, because this can be like a bit of a time-consuming process. It can be a little bit of trial and error. It can take a while to get all these settings exactly right. So we don't want to have to constantly have to start right from the beginning again. It would drive us absolutely mad. So obviously that's not desirable, and we don't have to do that because the model actually in the Apollos main directory, at different particular steps, the model automatically saves this. Okay, so you can do this yourself. So save image, you can save a snapshot. So we'll do that after we've calibrated some land use, after we've calibrated some neighbourhood rules. I'm sorry, but just to let you know that this information that we've already created is stored in project. That stores the very first early stages. So if we really made a mess of the actor characteristics, we can go back to project. Or if we're happy with the actor characteristics as we've got them now on the screen and we've set them up, we can load that in. So so let's just show you how to do that. Let's just imagine that we've closed our RStudio and we've stopped work for the day, and we want to carry on back exactly where we left off. So I'm gonna close that down. We don't need to save anything at all at this stage. Remember, it's automatically saved. If you've done something different, you've added some different settings in, you've done something after you went through all the actor dialogues, you may want to save it. I haven't done anything that I haven't shown here on screen, so I'm just going to don't save, and then we're going to go back right to the beginning. Okay, so here, so this is we're right back at the beginning again. Okay, so how do we get back to that step 4? Because we know, as I've just said, we've got our project actors, our data already saved there. Well, one of the great advantages of RStudio is you can open that directly and that sets your working directory for you, opens RStudio up again exactly where we left it. So that's great, isn't it? So we can do that. Okay, and then yes, we want to import that into our global environment. So here, this is fantastic. So now we can see that we've got in our global environment. So if I go start year, it's going to know what it is. There you go, end year, because all this has been preserved. Okay, and so have all our tables, Tableau 1, okay, and all our workspace settings as we've calibrated them, including all the different tables. Some of that's not all that useful now. Of course, well, let's just check. Let's just go back. That's actor cars. Do we remember we set it our actors? We set our actors, and then actor car vals. This is the values that we set. So that's good. Now, for some reason, we've accidentally inserted a blank line there, which we probably don't want. There's no real big problem here, but we can get rid of that with na omit actor cars. Omit actor cars and actor car vals. And then omit actor car vals. And let's just check actor cars, actor car vals. Yeah, so that's all. Actor car vals, and you omit actor car vals. Didn't seem to work. Why didn't that work? Actor car vals, and you omit car vals. Oh, because I created a new one, which is, I did it wrong. I created actor cars vals. Actor car vals. Right, there you go. Fixed. Right, so let's go ahead. This is where we're going to find out that we've got a little bit of an issue. Okay, so if you remember, we set our actor characteristics, and we've created this beautiful map, which was actor maps, TTPs. Okay, so let's do what we used to do in this version of the previous version of the model, and we've just reloaded our data file. It's got everything stored in it with plot actor maps. Oh no! External pointer is not valid. Right, so this is a real key difference between in the transition from the raster package to the Terra package. So the raster package, one of the problems that it had was that the memory handling was not very good. We were able to load our rasters into memory and into our workspace and store our workspace. It made the workspaces very large. These are data files, very large, very unwieldy, but it meant that we could store a snapshot with everything in it and load it up, and all those maps would be in there. Now, Terra doesn't offer you this possibility for the very simple reason that Terra doesn't work directly on the files in the R workspace. It works on the drive, so you don't actually we don't have these here anymore. They're not in our stored R data file. However, there is a very, very simple way to fix it, and I think it actually it's kind of forced us in a way to improve the model conceptually. So the way this works, once we've brought in, we've opened up we've come back into the last R data file, last workspace that we've saved, and it's got all our settings in, and that's great. So to make sure that we bring bring all that stuff, all the maps back in with us, we need to do one very tiny thing here. So on the switchboard, we're going to open this in RStudio. On the switchboard, right at the end of the switchboard, there's this command here, line 75, source switch model setup.r. So you don't have to do this from the switchboard. You can just run model setup.r directly if you like. So model setup.r will bring those model layers back in. In fact, we can just do that. Okay. There we go, and it's imported them there. So that's as easy as that. We can plot our actor maps, and there they are. Right. So that's the only detail, the only last thing that we kind of have to do when we come back in, and we'll find that our maps, any modifications we've made to our maps, have also been stored there. So that's that. Now, of course, you may want to, what you may like to do is you may want to uncomment this so that when you load the switchboard up, it loads all those maps back in automatically. But for now, we're going to leave that. But it's just that you're aware of that switch, because that's very, very important. Aware of that switch and aware of that script which does that. And of course, how does it know where to find them? Well, the reason it knows where to find them is because in the outputs directory, we've created a new folder called model blocks, and every time you work on the model, every time you import them, it overwrites this. It creates, well, the first time it creates, and then it overwrites. Okay, so obviously if you're going to make repeated changes to the base map, so for example, if you're going to work on the actor maps a lot over a long period of time, and you're going to fiddle around with lots of different ones, you may want to create a separate file and save them. So here what I've done is I've got settings original copy. Okay, so I've saved everything, I've just passed everything over to there to stop it being overwritten. But yeah, so everything, all the final maps that you as you create them, all the settings. So, and we've got in here everything you can see that we've worked on. So we set our regional map. We created national as the overview map with everything in it. The regional map was actually our intermediate map with our planning zones, and local M is our municipalities. LU1, LU2, and actor maps. So they're all stored in there. Okay, and these are some other things that we're going to talk about how to set them up in a little bit. Okay. So I think that's an important thing to point out. Okay,